Good everyone, oh, good news video. Today it's a Spade review on the B18A, which is one of the first B18s that you're going to be able to fly in the Swedish tree. Well, it is the first, but trust me, if you think this thing's good, wait till you get to the later ones, is all I will say. So the B18A is, well, it was designed as a reconnaissance bomber, and obviously it could do pretty much anything you asked of it. It could bomb, it could do rockets, the later models could do torpedo bombing, and obviously it had defensive armament in the form of a single 13.2 under here and a single 13.2 up here. There's also a single offensive machine gun for the pilot, which is quite useful, let's just say. Now, the B-18A does not get any access to any rockets like the B, the TB, the Dash 1 and TB-2. This is the one that is pretty much one of the first ones that were made, and obviously you can tell by the different engines. If I just show you the T-18B2, you'll notice it's got different engines. Other than that, obviously with different payloads and obviously the TB model, obviously removing the underneath gun, which I'll mention in future Spade reviews, this plane is pretty much exactly the same, other than the engines and underneath here, obviously the rockets that I already mentioned. So, how does it like to fly? Well, to be honest, you can basically fly this however you want. You can fly it as a bomber, you can fly it as a fighter, you can fly it as a attacker, you can pretty much fly it however the hell you like. This is one of those planes that it just felt great to play. It just felt great to fly. It turned nicely for what it is, because it is a bomber. And it could pretty much do anything I ask of it. If you wanted to kill a base, go right ahead. If you want to kill fighters, go ahead. If you want to gunship with the 13.2s on bombers, go ahead. It can do that. Now, the one thing that this thing does lack is a bit of speed. Obviously, once I cover the J22s, you'll notice that this thing uses the same engines as them. These are SFA STWC3s, and they appear to be based off an early Wright Cyclone engine or a Curtiss Wright engine or something like that. And to be honest, they're not the best, but they're good enough to say this plane is BR of 2.0. You're not going to be able to outdive things like HE100s in this thing, but the later ones you can. So you will be able to outrun more in the later models, but this thing can still outrun if it needs to. So obviously, as I mentioned, the 13.2 in the front, 300 rounds. It's devastating, as you're going to see. The rear turret has good coverage, and the lower turret has reasonable coverage given the position of the gunner. Now, luckily, it seems that these guys actually learn how to hold their guns, unlike the ones, or the B3C, just having like Jedi mind control and not holding their guns. So let's go with the armaments and the bombs and stuff like that. So obviously, 13.2 are set to universal because the most HEF rounds. Air targets, even though, to be honest, on both of these you could stick to default and it'd be perfectly fine. But for more damage, you want air targets. Then let's go into the bomb loads. So we've got 18 at 50 kilo bombs, sorry, which it takes 16 to drop a base, so then you can use the other two on another base or just do like one on one base and one on another. That's how I did it. Then you've got three 120 kilo bombs, which they're okay. You've then got three 120 kilo bombs and 8 50 kilo bombs, which again, good. Then you get into the big boys. Two 500 kilo bombs, pretty good. And then you get two 500s and 8 50s. Again, pretty good payload. Obviously, I have put the maximum payload on the plane, but obviously that was when I was spading it. And in the first flight, I obviously had the 1650s. Now, it doesn't have the 600s, which is a bit of a disappointment. But to be honest, it's perfectly fine that it's not got the 600s because the bomb load is good enough for about 1.5 bases. You can drop the 850s on one base plus a 500, and then you can drop the other 500 on another base. It's perfectly fine. So it's not like you're going to be detrimenting your team with the lack of the 600 kilo bombs. So before we begin, let's go over the stats of the aircraft. Obviously, I've not flown the B18A all that much, but 13 kills and no deaths, 26 ground targets. This thing was a bit of a beast. and so was the later ones, as you can tell. But let's go into the battle, and then you can see, not the invite friend. I don't need a baby account for a while. Now, I would just like to make this clear. This was my first flight in the aircraft. I'm not bullshitting you. If you want to see if I'm bullshitting, you can go back and check the server replays. Because this was my first flight. I think I actually mentioned it in the chat as well. If excuse me. If I remember rightly, I've still got a sore throat. But yeah, these Swedish bombers are to be feared, is all I will say. Obviously, with you having the early engines, you're not going to be getting anywhere particularly fast. But they're okay to say you're stuck. Obviously, you've got 10 50 kilo bombs in the bomb bay, and you've got 8 on the outside. The ones on the outside drop 2, or drop as a pair, so you get 4 lots of pairs, and you get, obviously, you get 10 in the bomb bay, which drops single. But to be honest, if it was just me, I'd spaceboard bash, because it is quicker that way. So, Sailey Daily down there, it's not Fly Daily, I've already checked. He has obviously been saying, like, hello free-to-play players. I don't know why. But, he is obviously flying the JAA. I don't think he even gets up to March. But obviously, you can look at the level flight speed right now to say this thing's completely stock. It's doing okay. I mean, it's got good speed, but it's not going to be faster than the B18Bs. But it's good enough. So at this point, I'm obviously looking at that plane, and I'm thinking, there's only one plane that looks like that, and doesn't look like something out of, I don't know, doesn't look like a Sunderland. Because I knew it wasn't a Sunderland, it only had 2 engines and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm dropping a couple of bombs there, dropped 2 pairs there, and I think I dropped 14, which actually does kill the base, so I'm not sure if it's 14 or 16 bombs. I think I dropped them a bit too late though. And, well, it's a Catalina, which, I mean, it's a Catalina, they're not that dangerous. And as you're about to see, the Swedish 13.2, because bear in mind this is the first 13.2 that I used on the Swedish aircrafts. And, well, you're about to see what this gun can do. And there you go. It just ripped that Catalina to bits. First kill. Another handy thing about this aircraft is air brakes. It gets air brakes, all of them do. The B2 has a slight model bug in that the air brakes don't actually show. But it's not that big a deal. Yeah, my other 14 bombs actually missed a target, because obviously I left them too late. But the air brakes really help when obviously you're diving at high speeds. But here's where the fun starts. 2 J22, I believe these are Bs. Yes, they are. They're 2 J22Bs. I believe they're a squaded as well. And I'm just thinking, well, I've still got ammo in the front gun. I might as well have a crack at them. I dropped the air brakes. And, well, you're going to see what this gun can do to this poor discus guy. Look at that. I'm sorry, but there's no other gun that can do that sort of devastation at low tier. And there's kill number 3. Just wow. The insane amount of damage that these 13.2s do. But bear in mind that that J22B has 4 of them. And that thing's amazing. And obviously, that's my first time experiencing the gun, so I say in chat, damn, these 13.2s hit like a train, and they do. They hit like a freaking train. Obviously, this is stock belts as well. But to be honest, I'm going to say this for all the reviews with aircraft armed with 13.2, which is the majority of the Swedish tech tree. Don't bother upgrading the belts. I'm going to say that right now. Don't bother. You can put them on at the end, but don't worry about belts. Honestly. And there you go, kill number 4. You just seriously don't need to upgrade your belts on this thing, because, well, on any of the 13.2s, they're just so dang powerful. And look, there we go, first flight. I freaking love this thing already. Like, to say this thing's meant to be a bomber, you might as well do multitasking, which is rare for a bloke. But jokes aside, this thing can just absolutely devastate when it's in skilled hands. I remember flying the J's. What plane was it? I think it was the J11, which I'm not doing a review on. You may have noticed. But and there we go, kill number 5. But I'm not doing a review on the J11 because it's just a Falco, and besides, I'm planning to do a review on Mark Collins' Falco anyway. But yeah, it's just devastation with these guns. Like, seriously, it's just got so much power behind it. And obviously against ground targets, such as these fuel trucks and stuff like that, it's just as effective. Combine that with the lower turret, and you've got a recipe for just pure and utter carnage. So, why would you not fly these B-18s, is all I will say. But yeah, these planes are very effective in their role. They're very effective at doing ground attack. They're very effective at doing bombing. And they're very good at playing fighter if you choose to do so with these powerful air brakes. So yes, obviously I'm going to say this for all the B-18 reviews. For the love of God, give them a go. Like, the later ones get rockets. Obviously, since I've done the event, I no longer need the bombs. So I'm going to be strapping rockets to them. And I'm going to go bomber hunting. So, do that. Obviously, this one doesn't get rockets, so you can't do that as effectively. But B-18B, which is going to be the next bomber review, does get those. So for the love of God, please give them a go. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's review on the B18A. Like I say, this thing is absolutely awesome. Please do give it a go, and I will catch you all on the next one.